Hi guys, it's AquaCat739 with Skylar, my signature Siberian Husky. Speaking of Siberian Huskies, I'm here to tell you a story that happened about half an hour ago. So, if you look all the way over there, see that gate on that house right there attached to it? Yeah. Well, I used to be right across, across that way from the other side. I used to live right across from that street, where I moved here. So, pretty sad, right? But there was a husky. There's a husky there named Lobo, and we know that because a few years ago we were driving home from school and we saw this husky on the highway. I'm like, Mom, it looks like the husky across the street. She's like, no, it doesn't. She's like, no, it doesn't. It's just probably some random husky. We tried getting in the car, we lost it, we couldn't find it. But eventually we found out that it was across the street, and I was right. But they eventually found the dog. So my mom and I, we left the house around 8 o'clock to go shopping, which I thought was way too early, but whatever. We get home, I'm waiting for my mom to open the trunk, and all of a sudden I see this black and white thing running across behind me. It was the husky, walks up to me. I'm like, what the heck? I scream at my mom. I'm like, Mom, Lobo! And she's like, what? Turns around, sees it. I went to go grab the husky's collar because he knows who we are. And he darts into the backyard. He came all the way from back there. It's pretty far. He darted all the way over here, chased him, darted, and I'm like, my mom was following me, and then he darted all the way back home. Now, you think everything's fine, don't you? Don't you? Wrong. After he darted home, I'm like, okay, he's back home. He stopped for a second. I went to go grab his collar. Darts! See that house all the way at the end of the block right there? Yeah. Darted all the way there into their backyard. I went to go follow him. My mom's like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the car. And she's like, you just keep following the dog. I'm like, okay, I have my phone with me. So, I dart into the backyard with him. I was about to grab him, I was about to follow him, but then I was stopped because I heard a guard dog barking at me, and I'm like, oh, great. So, I looked around and I went onto the other side of the entrance, and he darted into this little forest they have the back there. And I'm like, great. He darts out into the other neighbor's backyard. I'm like, hey, you gotta be kidding me. Dart all the way over there. And there's this little passageway all the way in the corner back there behind this tree. But it's way over there on the at the end of the block. Or back there. Whatever, it's a long story. Darts all the way back there. I call my mom. She doesn't answer because she's right behind me in the car. I'm like, pick up the phone. And she rolled down the window like, Mom, the dog darted into the area to get to the park. My mom's like, go. I'm like, she's like, go. And I go to get in the car. She's like, no, I'll go follow the dog on foot. Follow the dog on foot. But I waited a minute to wait for my mom to tell me it was okay to go. I lost the dog. There was a pond there. And I'm like, oh God, please don't tell me he jumped in. I'm running around and I'm screaming, Lobo, Lobo, because that's the dog's name. And I'm like, oh my God, this freaking dog, if he has gotten killed, I feel like it's going to be my responsibility. I'm running around, I'm running up to go to the park, and I'm like, Lobo, Lobo. My mom calls me on the phone. She goes, the dog's owner's son is going to be coming up behind you. He did. I looked around. He didn't really care. I was screaming the dog's name. He didn't say anything. He was just holding a leash, walking around. Walks up to this one lady at the park. Have you seen a dog? No. That's all he did. I'm running around. I'm still screaming Lobo. I lost him. I couldn't find him anywhere. I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, I feel like he jumped in the pond. My mom picks me up, after a minute later. She pulled up by the park. We lost the dog. And I get in the car. My mom's like, do you want to ride home, kid? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep looking around. And if anything, I think he went right. Well, my mom and I, we drove right. The dog wasn't there. My mom turns around so we can go back home, look around there. The kid's gone. He walked all the way back home, could care less. People these days. So We walked, and we drove all the way home, and all of a sudden I see the black and white dog. I'm like, Mom, look, he's over there, chasing the geese by this pond by our house, a different pond. Next thing, this big building, there's like dentists and stuff in there, and chiropractors and therapists or whatever, not really sure. But so I get out of the car. It's moving just barely. I know that wasn't safe, but I still did it anyway. My mom's like, that wasn't safe. I'm like, I know, but I really wanted to grab the dog. Went to go grab the dog, got his collar, but he darted out anyway. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Then my mom cornered him with the car. He didn't run into the car, thank God. But cornered him to the car. He kept making circles around the car, but walking, and I cornered him. My mom opened the door. He jumps in the car, thankfully, into the pedals where my mom steers the car. The car was in park. It didn't go anywhere. It took us 10 minutes to get him out. Where the pedals are. I don't know what that's called. I'm not 16. I don't drive. So my mom and I just got back from the animal hospital to get some cat food, because some of our cats have to eat this certain food. But so my mom had cat food. She opened it. The dog finally came out. Finally, he's the dumbest dog in the whole world. He doesn't come to Lobo. He doesn't come to Come. Where my mom asked the kid, she's like, what does this dog come to? And he's like, oh, you know, he'll just come if you have a leash. No, he doesn't. He doesn't even speak English. The dog doesn't understand English. He understands Mexican. Oh, dog in the car. We pull up to the house because it's right there, as I said. And I'm pounding on the front stairs door. A woman walks up. I'm like, do you want a Siberian Husky? And she's like, no, the people upstairs do. And she's like, why? And I'm like, well, their dog got out. We've been chasing it for an hour and a half. I've been running an hour and a half on foot non-stop. Non-stop. Just to stop because the guard dog was there. But other than that, I haven't stopped, other than to get in the car. My car. So, so she's like, oh, go upstairs. I walk upstairs. I'm pounding on the door. I was pounding for like 5 minutes. Finally, a woman opens the door, and I'm like, we found your dog. He's in our car. Come and get him. She's like, I didn't even know my dog got out, acting all tired because she was asleep. Asleep? She didn't even know her dog got out, for crying out loud. I got so ticked off when I walked down the stairs. I get in the car. I'm staying as far away from the dog as possible because he was like freaking out. I was scared he was going to bite my face. He didn't. But my mom's like, we found your dog. He was running around the whole freaking neighborhood into the park. I probably ran like about 1.5 miles today. Straight. Non-stop. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm serious. I'm really tired, but she's like, oh, thank you, but I didn't even know my dog got out. And I'm like, oh my God. Apparently, that gate over there, little children who play on this block think it's fun. When the dog is outside, they open it and let the dog run around the neighborhood and then go home. They go home and they just let the dog run around the neighborhood. So people say. That's what people say. Just everyone in that house always loses an animal. Once it was the 2 German shepherds. Me and my mom ended up chasing the husky 2 times, and then a cat, which Zigzag 28's brother and father squirted with water, which wasn't cool. I just have to say. So she's like, thanks, opens the door, gets the dog out of the car, walks in the house, and looks behind her to see if we were still there. She turns around and walks in the house. Well, they let the dog outside again. The dog didn't get out. They didn't put on a leash either this time again. They're really big dogs. Like, they're from the floor up to here. The dog's actually about like to here. It's still a pretty big dog from this balcony right here to here. And that's a big dog. It can jump that little fence. That fence isn't even this high. It's about like this high from the balcony to here. It's a really small fence. The dogs jump over it all the time. It's, oh God. I am so done with neighbors. So done. Oh, by the way, it's warm enough to just wear shorts and a short sleeve over. Then again, I am sweating hardcore. I am so hot right now. Like, oh look, the bugs are back. Blah. Anyway, I am done with neighbors. I'm so done with neighbors. Like, I just want them all to go away. I just want them all to move out. I want them to go away. I want them to go away, and them to go away, and them to go away, and them to go away. Especially them over there, because they can't. Once their dogs got into a huge fight, which caused people to go to the hospital because the dogs bit them. The dogs were sent to this place. They finally got them back, but oh god, it's because there was this pit bull. Not that I have anything against pit bulls. I think pit bulls, people overjudge them. I think pit bulls are really sweet because I used to have one for a few days. Look, a squirrel. Wow, totally got off track there. The pit bull started the whole thing, and honestly, I don't think it's what the type of dog is. I think it's the people who own the dog, that it's their fault that the dog turns out that way. That's what I say, and I know that's the truth. So, my god, the dogs ended up taking almost everybody to the hospital. 911 was everywhere. The cops, the fire department, everybody were like, so, yeah. That's my exciting adventure today. Blah. Blah. I'll see you guys in my next video. I want to go yell at my neighbors so freaking bad because they're a bunch of jerks who just don't care about their animals. I'll see you guys in my next video. See you later.